Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ella Wales here with meteorologist Zach Gilday, and we just want to get you caught up on the weather today as we're seeing that snowfall from across East Tennessee. So, Zach, start us off. What are we seeing outside right now?
Yeah, right now it sure looks a little bit different. Yesterday it was all quiet, but that snow ramped up in the evening, and road conditions as of right now in Knoxville. I know I drove on Broadway. I drove on Washington Pike. Not all that bad. But those side streets, those areas are still suffering. And the cold, I think it's going to be transitioning to a cold event as we go throughout the overnight. And any moisture on those roadways, any slush, that will refreeze tonight. So I do want to mention that the refreeze, that is going to be an issue as we go throughout the overnight hours.
Definitely those main roads are in much better shape than some of those side roads. So if you do have to drive, try to stick to those. But of course, it's the better option to stay home.
For sure, yeah. And I do want to mention, I know it's snowing. People probably want to go outside, enjoy the snow. Probably like their kids want to go outside, enjoy the snow. Temperatures are going way down. So if you're outside for a prolonged time period, conditions are not conducive to that, because frostbite, hypothermia, that could be a serious issue when it gets this cold. Take some breaks. So I know you want to enjoy the snow. You can go out there for a little bit, but probably come back inside, warm back up, and then you can go right back out there.
I saw some people sledding on my way into work today.
Yeah.
So they're definitely enjoying it, but that's always a good reminder, Zach, that, you might get so cold you're just numb and you don't even feel that,
For sure. Yeah, they're probably so excited. It's been a while since they've seen that snow, and it's perfect sledding snow. So if you want to do something, sledding is probably the best option. But be safe. I know last time we saw a video, somebody was going kind of fast. And I know sometimes, you slid down a hill. There's usually a tree line at the end of that hill. Want to, probably pump those brakes a little bit.
Yeah, we don't want a fun snow day to turn into injuries or anything like that. So definitely take it easy while you're out there. Well, let's get a look at take a look at our snow stick cam. This is right outside of the studio. It's a little hard to see where we're at on that ruler, but can you tell us a little bit about what we've been seeing here in Knoxville, Zach?
Yeah, so for Knoxville, I do want to mention Knox County. It is pretty highly variable for those snowfall totals. If you live in far west Knox County, really not all that much, but Knoxville area, I do want to say these snow totals pretty highly dependent on your exact spot, because it's that light, fluffy snow. It's been breezy. Snow drifts can go along, can really pile up those snowfall totals in one area, then one area, probably not as much. I'd probably say Knoxville, like 3 to 6, probably a safe bet.
That feels like a lot, especially after last weekend when I know some people were hoping for some snow. We didn't get much here in Knoxville, really, but I think this definitely makes up for those out there that do love the snow.
Yeah. Very different event, almost polar opposite. Last time we had the ice, and those caused slick roads, and this time, snow. It was all snow. Roads are slushy now, but temperatures tonight will be plummeting, and we've got a lot of cameras, actually, if you want to take the weather graphics here. Snowing in Crossville right now. Now, this area across the plateau probably saw about an inch, trace amounts for a lot of the area, but we can see people driving fine. The road looks like it's clear. Really no icy impacts, it looks like, on that road. And as we got a couple more cameras, actually, can show you. There's Blount County, a little bit more snow in Blount County. That's probably about 5 to 6 inches right there. So we can see maybe a little truck in the parking lot trying to plow up that snow.
Yeah, this gives us a good look at some of those more back roads. The roads in Crossville were looking pretty good. I saw a plow drive by. But
roads in Crossville looking pretty good. The Blount County, that parking lot there at the hospital, looked like it. So I know in my apartment complex they didn't do anything. Well, I tell you what they did do. They put down a bunch of salt, and
that's not going to do it with this
I was going to the gym last night, and I tracked all that salt back into my apartment. I was not liking that, but they got to keep people from slipping around. Now here's Gatlinburg, Sky Park. This is a higher terrain area, about 2,000 feet up, and we've been saying that the higher terrain areas are getting a lot more snow, and that right there, that's probably about 10 inches, maybe up to a foot in some spots. So yeah, they got a lot of snow. And it's that good skiing snow, but it looks like that's closed down right now.
Yeah, we had our Don Dare up in Gatlinburg this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to actually hear from him in some of the later shows, but he was telling us about the snow there, and even some of the locals were saying that this seems like one of the heavier snows that they've seen.
For sure. Yeah. So significant snow was seen for them. But it was that light, fluffy snow, which kind of limits the impacts, because that wet, heavy snow that can cause power issues. And the light, fluffy snow, it's an issue, but it could be a lot worse. Could be ice. That's probably the worst case scenario. Here's snowfall total map, just radar estimates, and we're gonna do this again at 10. So we're gonna come back on at 10.
Yes.
And at 10, once all the snow stops, I can give you some exact reports from people across the area. The official reports really haven't come in yet because it's still snowing out for some people. But here's kind of an idea. We can see, really, like we said, west of I-75, not a whole lot of snow. Trace amounts up to 1 inch, maybe 2 inches. That's that white shade. Once we get into the blue, that's probably about 3 to upwards of 6 inches. That purplish shade, that's probably about 9. And then once we get to the pinks, then we're really racking up the totals. We can zoom in, just showing you Knox County. I did mention that earlier. Knox County had quite the gradient of the snow. I actually just skipped it. See if I can go back. Maybe not. There we go. Yeah, so Knox County, far west Knox County, just maybe an inch or two. And then we had, okay, maybe that's after this. So Smokies. Let's go for the Smokies. So we can see the whiter shades of pink. That's up to around a foot. So that's pretty much what we said. We had a widespread 6 to 8, and we said higher peaks, maybe 10 to around 12 inches. And that pretty much played out what we were talking about. There we go. So we're going back out west. Here's Knox County. So we can see if you're west of downtown Knoxville, probably about 3 to upwards of 4. Then that purplish shade, upwards of 6 inches. And then once you get over to far east Knox County, going over to Jefferson City area, Dandridge, looking like about 8 inches. Now those are not official reports from official storm spotters. They're just radar estimates, but that's pretty solid job of what we're doing. And I do want to mention again, snowfall totals are highly variable. You could go in your backyard, could be a little bit different because the wind's blowing around, and we've got melting. Even though temperatures are below freezing, compaction, melting, lot of variables that go into the snowfall total forecast.
I have a question for you. You mentioned that the more western parts of our area are seeing some less snow right now. We saw so much snow and ice in Middle Tennessee around Nashville earlier this week. Is snow still coming down there, or has that storm kind of moved on to our area?
Yeah, so they're done. So they didn't see anything from the storm. And as we go forward in time, I can actually show you what we're looking at for the system that gave us all the winter weather. Currently way offshore. So it's kind of an interesting setup. Not really a typical snowmaker for us. It was just a big storm system that. But I'll show you that in just a minute. But for right now, I do want to mention we have the cold. I think we're transitioning to more of a cold threat. Cold weather advisory, including Knox County, that white shade, and then that blue shade. That's a cold weather warning. So we are dealing with cold tonight. Single-digit lows. The wind will settle, but the areas where it doesn't, I do think that the wind chills will be in the sub-zero range. Here's that system. You can see it offshore. But look at all that snow expanding from the Carolinas all the way down into the Georgia area, down into Alabama. But central Tennessee, not really seeing a whole lot. Maybe a few light flurries, but looking pretty quiet. I do want to mention the weather aware. Once again, we're still weather aware, transitioning from the snow to the cold for the Sunday and even Monday morning, sub-zero wind chills as we go throughout the overnight tomorrow night. So not only tonight is freezing, tomorrow it's going to be pretty freezing too. I know I had the heat on last night, sure needed it.
Heat on, windows closed. This is also a good chance to remind you, check on your neighbors. Check on any elderly people that you know, maybe some unhoused people. We're, of course, worried about that community. There are warming centers open this weekend, and even pets. Make sure those pets are staying inside, not outside for too long. Of course, they want to enjoy the snow for a little bit as well, but just be aware of the dangers of this cold.
Yeah, we always mention the 4 Ps: people, pets, plants, and pipes.
There you go.
Hopefully, you've had the plants inside for a while now because it's been pretty cold.
The plants might not be around anymore if they've been outside this whole time.
Yeah. Pipes. I've heard some horror stories. They say cover your outside spigots and turn those off. But on the inside, when it gets down to the single digits, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe drip those pipes a little bit. So like not like full blast, not even a medium, just like a slow drip. You don't want to waste water.
Right. Zach, is this a good time to see some viewer photos that have been sent in?
For sure, yeah. Let's see some of those.
We've been getting photos in from viewers all over our area, including pets outside, the amount of snow that they've seen. So let's see what we've got up here. Looks like Dawn from Sweetwater sent in this photo of an adorable pony out in the snow. Looks like it's having the time of its life.
All right. Like the hairdo.
Yeah, we've seen so many animals out and about, and looks like this little guy is loving the snow. That can't say the same for everyone, but maybe we can get another one pulled up here.
He's got a pretty big coat on.
Yeah, that was in Sweetwater, like we said, but let's go back to this one. This is in Jefferson City.
Yeah.
You mentioned around Gatlinburg, you said was about 10 or so inches. Is that
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Looks like Jefferson City is at about 9, according to Jackie's measurements here. So
yeah, thanks for that measurement, Jackie.
Yeah, it looks like that's close. That's getting close to some of the higher totals that we've seen, but not quite as much as we've seen in the Smokies.
Yeah, so like that area is east of us. So that's what we were saying.
And speaking of the Smokies, here's a measurement from Mickey in Gatlinburg. That is way up there.
Yeah, see, like that right there. So that could be a snowdrift. I'm not saying that you made a bad measurement, but that seems on the higher end of the snowfall totals. But maybe that area, I was saying snowfall totals can be highly variable, and yeah, significant snow was seen.
Yeah, looks like it can get, pretty piled up in a few different areas like that. So here's another picture from Sevierville. Ingrid sent this in of a backyard. I feel like this is what a lot of us woke up to this morning.
Yeah. Yep. Your patio, little dusting, because it's got an overhang. And the reason why there's snow on the patio and this looks like there's an overhang is because the wind really got that snow blowing all over the place. Even if you have a covered area, you'll see a coating of snow. And I do want to mention, you don't want to leave that on your deck because that can be really bad for the wood. And something like that, you could probably just get the leaf blower out there if you got one and just blow it off because that snow is light and that's fluffy.
Maybe even just a broom, just sweep it right off.
Yeah.
And I do also want to mention, if you are joining us on YouTube, feel free to leave a question in the comments. We can answer any of your questions if you are watching on YouTube. So let's look at one more photo. Looks like this is a photo from Melissa in Greenville. So that's way up there. We've got a herd enjoying the snow. Looks like they're having fun. I was in Harriman the other day covering some of the work the linemen there were doing to repair power outages from last weekend's weather, and I saw some horses wearing jackets. And I loved it. Then I was informed that is pretty common. So take it from me, who's not from a place that sees snow very often, learning new things still every day.
Don't see any jackets on these bulls here.
Yeah, they look prepared for the snow, though.
They kind of look like they're having fun out there.
They look like they're in their element. So, Zach, let's talk about the next few days. I know that today was kind of the biggest day we were expecting for weather. Is that right? Yeah,
as far as the snow. Yeah, so we are weather aware still right now for the snow, but it's really tapering off. You might see a few light snow flurries coming up throughout this evening. I think Knoxville snow gone by 10, long gone. And then tonight, skies slowly clear as those winds settle. That's a perfect combination for a big cool down. And with the snowpack, it really kind of keeps the temperatures down. So really not a whole lot of warming during the afternoon. Sun comes out, the white surface, we call it an albedo. So it doesn't absorb that radiation, reflects it back up to outer space. So not a whole lot of warming we'll be seeing tomorrow. I know a lot of people might be weather enthusiasts. If you look at those computer models, the model might say tomorrow was around 30, but it's probably going to be around 5 degrees, probably maybe even a little bit colder than that because they're probably not taking into account for that snow depth. And then Monday morning, a sub-zero wind chill. So this snow isn't really going anywhere anytime soon. Ella, here's Knoxville right now. Again, we were talking about the roads. We were driving around, or I was driving around. At least the main roads looked okay. in the middle of the lane, there might be like a slushy area. Probably want to avoid that. You don't want to go because you can get up into that and probably your tires could,
Just take it slow. It seems like this is a good view of some of the main roads that we've seen in the area. North Broadway, which is where we are right now, wasn't too bad on the way in, but of course, up against the sides of the roads and in the middle, you are going to see more of that slush buildup. But looks like our road crews are doing a pretty good job so far.
I know our back parking lot's pretty bad though. You got to do something about that. I don't know if anyone's listening. but temperatures, that's cold, 16 degrees. Quite the change up from at this time yesterday. 21 degrees colder, still breezy. And that's making it feel like the single digits. So right now it's cold. The sun's going down. So I think playtime's over.
Can we expect this snow to stay on the ground? Are we going to see it for the next few days?
Yeah, I think it's going to be on the ground for a while. Temperatures across the area. Check out the Smokies, single digits, and pretty much everybody teens. Oak Ridge is the outlier in the 20s. So head to Oak Ridge if you want.
It looks like we've got some questions. Are we going to see single digits tonight? You just touched on that.
Yep. Yeah. Hannah, I think single digits, pretty widespread tonight. When will the sun come out? Well, not today. I think tomorrow it's going to be coming out. Sky is slowly clear tonight and still seeing a little bit of snow across areas east of Interstate 75.
That sun should definitely help. Hopefully we'll be in better conditions ahead of Monday morning if people do have to go out to work.
Yeah, I was looking at the crawl there. Some schools are already closed for Monday.
Yes, including Knox County. We've got a full list on our website under the weather tab. You'll then see closing and delays. So we've got the full list, but we have several districts across our area that are going to be closed, at least for Monday so far. I wouldn't be surprised if they extended that since we did have some school closures this past week as well, despite not really seeing as much actual snow on the ground, at least here in Knox County. Yeah,
I just remember as a kid watching that crawl, waiting for my school to pop up.
Well, Zach, you're from Connecticut, correct?
Yep.
Did you see a lot of snow up there? Would school ever be canceled up there?
Oh yeah. They would cancel it, and they would cut into our summertime. So we would be in school.
Make up those snow days.
Yeah, this was before those virtual days. I'm not sure if they do that around here, but yeah.
I think they've still got virtual days, but I don't think we've had any this school year so far.
Yeah. Kind of ruins the whole snow day if you got to log on and do some work.
Right. That definitely became more of a thing after COVID. So I guess that is a good resource, but definitely not something the kids would be happy about.
Yeah. So we would have snow days probably like, I don't know, 5 to 10 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I feel like sometimes, Tennessee, the rest of the South gets a little made fun of for how we handle the snow as far as canceling school. But I mean, the snow on the ground right now definitely makes it hard for anyone to get around.
I kind of understand. It's really probably don't really get the bang for your buck if you have like a whole fleet of trucks and you never use them.
Right. I rode along with a salt truck driver last week and got to see kind of how they prepare for something like this. So it's really nonstop for those guys. They are out day in, day out, just putting salt down. And then the job gets even tougher, of course, after the weather comes.
And if you really think about it, that job is really important because you are saving lives. Because if you don't plow those roads, accidents will happen.
It's especially even hard just to be prepared to get out of your own driveway or from your own house. Coming here, I had to push all the snow off the roof of my car, and that was a bit of a challenge for one person. So yeah.
And as Ken Weather says, your ice scraper doesn't do you any good when it's in the car because you gotta dig into your car.
Yeah, I gotta
get the ice scraper out.
The door handle first.
and that's what I did today. I had to go in the car to get the ice scraper, open up the door, all the snow went inside the car.
Yep. Then you got to get a towel. It's just a whole ordeal. But hopefully, not many people are having to drive today, so we can avoid that altogether.
Yeah,
maybe we can get some more viewer pictures pulled up here so we can see some more areas across East Tennessee and what they're seeing. So let's go to. Let's see, we've got East Knoxville. This is from Treva. Looks pretty similar to some of the other photos that we were seeing, even out in Sevierville. Looks like we're just pretty coated across the area.
Yeah, East Knoxville got the higher total, so they probably got about 5-6 inches.
Yeah, looks like it. You can't even, if there is a pathway or if there is a road there, we're not seeing it. So hopefully some people in East Knoxville will be able to stay in and just have a snow day. And then let's see, this is from Melissa in Townsend, and looks like they've got some snow buildup on their deck as well. So hopefully they'll be able to clean that off.
Yeah, bundle up.
Yeah, definitely a lot of inches there. Okay, I think this might be my favorite photo of the day.
Cat.
Cat in a harness in the snow. And they tell us, Libby and Bobby told us that this cat's name is actually Snow.
Wow.
So
Fitting.
this is probably a pretty big day in that household. I wonder if this is the first time Snow has seen snow.
It looks like he's got a big fur coat on. It looks like he can handle the elements.
Looks like he'll be warm. He's fluffy, so
I think he's
that's
doing
good.
good.
All right. And Zach, what else should we know going into tonight as far as just any risks out and about?
Well, we got some more graphics. Like I show you how cold it's going to be coming up here. So as we go throughout the next 10 hours, temperatures in the teens. The winds are going to be up. I think once the sun goes down around 9 or 10, I think the winds settle. Still kind of seeing that wind chill factor as we go throughout the overnight hours, though. And here we go. Lows tonight. We can see Smokies below 0, Knoxville area single digits, a little bit milder. I don't even want to use the word mild because that's well below normal for this time of year. Yeah, just very, very frigid temperatures tonight. And we can see future temperatures and wind chill as we go throughout the next couple of days. Even though I said the wind is going to settle, it's not going to settle completely. So I think wind chills tomorrow morning will be below 0 going throughout the day. Sunday, those winds try and pick up again. And temperatures tomorrow, they're going to be staying below freezing throughout the whole day. So we're not really going to be going up to above freezing until Monday afternoon. Road conditions, this is what people want to see. So we can see east of Interstate 75 looks fine as of right now. It's just a graphic, kind of a broad brush painting here. But any moisture on those roads, any little patches of snow will freeze tonight as we really get cold. Right now, we can see that powder blue. Those are snow-covered roads. But as we go throughout the day, the cars drive over the snow, it melts. And then tonight, less traffic, sun goes down. Sun really makes a big difference. Even though the thermometer is below freezing, the sun heats up those roads. So that's why there's no ice right now. But I do think later on tonight, the powder blue might be turning to a pinkish color. And that's the ice.
That's when the risk comes in. Well, it's good to see that middle West Tennessee is getting a little break from this, but we, of course, want to be careful here in our area, especially with that ice risk.
Yeah, for sure. Road temperatures right now are not too bad across areas to our west. But here's what happens throughout the overnight. Road temperatures plummet down to the teens and 20s by tomorrow morning. So if you do have plans tomorrow morning,
cancel them.
Yeah. Yeah. You really don't want to just risk it all. I would probably say tonight, tomorrow, because the roads aren't going to be, they can't get them completely clean.
I know we've already mentioned the school closures, but we've seen lots of cancellations of events that were supposed to be this weekend. Hopefully some people come Monday, if we're still seeing these conditions, that some people will get a work from home option or maybe just canceled altogether.
But look at what happens going throughout the day Sunday. Once that sun comes up, road temperatures go above freezing. Even though the air temperature will still be in the 20s, the road temperature will be above freezing. I do have the 6 predictor in there, just showing you the snow showers tapering off for most by 10 across the Smokies. So we are in this northwest flow aloft. So with the winds going up the west side of the mountain slopes, the last of that moisture gets wringed out. So the snow will finally end in the Smokies last late this evening. And then by Sunday morning, we're done with snow.
Okay, great. And we have another question. Mary wants to know how long the snow will stick around. I think we mentioned just how long are we going to see the snow on the ground? Yeah,
well, it really depends where you are. So you can see tomorrow, snow's not going anywhere. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s. But look at what happens, though, as we go throughout the week. Well, actually, here's time below freezing. So we're not really going to be above freezing. We went down to below freezing Friday evening, and then we finally creep up to above freezing Monday. But the snow will still hang around. Snow is a pretty good insulator. Even though temperatures are above freezing, the snow will still hang around. We got one more graphic before the 7-day temperature trend. We were talking about the 4 Ps: people, pets, plants, and pipes. Now here's some pipe tips, if I can say that. Yeah, leave heat no lower than 55. I know for apartments, they usually say 65.
Ooh, 55. I think my house is on 68 right now.
Yeah, 55 is kind of pushing it. Yeah, I'll probably leave it at 65 at the minimum. Let cold water drip from the faucets. Open kitchen and bathroom cabinets to get the air circulation. And outside, this should have already been done, hopefully. The whole insulate your exposed pipes that are outside, or even in the garage, because a lot of people, the garages aren't heated. If you have your hot water heater out there, that could be an issue. And then remove the drain and store outdoor hoses. Hopefully that's done. Temperature is going up, finally back in the 40s Tuesday. I think that's when we see some good melting.
Those are some great tips, and we definitely want to see that melting. Of course, safety is just the priority through this. We don't want anyone to run into any trouble on the roads or even have a pipe burst. That's the last thing anyone wants to deal with when there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, that would ruin your day for sure. Yeah, that would not be a good idea. There'll probably be a lot of money to fix too. 70 forecast real quick, and we are going to show you this again later on at 10. We'll be doing a live stream, and then on 6 on the news, we'll be doing this again. But we are weather aware Sunday and Monday. Tuesday night into Wednesday, chances for rain. Notice how Wednesday morning temperature is pretty marginal, 33. I think there will be a brief wintry mix for some Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. As of right now, it looks pretty low impact, but we're still a couple days away. So as far as wintry weather, after we get out of this cold, I think the impacts aren't really looking that high, but things could change. And if they did, we'll let you know. Maybe even do another live stream.
Yeah, and like Zach mentioned, we're going to be live again at 10. But before that, we're going to have our 6 p.m. show. That's also going to be on the WATE Plus app. And it looks like we have one more question in here. Will the groundhog see his shadow? Well, Zach, you're the expert.
You know, me and Phil got quite the relationship. He really doesn't do a good job doing the weather. You know, I think he should stick to groundhog things.
I think the last few years, if I remember correctly, he's predicted more winter, which
so,
not what we hear.
Personally, Phil, you know, I do respect him. You know, it's not good to talk bad about people, but I don't think he does. I think he should, you know.
I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Groundhog Day is coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Coming up, February 2nd.
Yeah, so day after tomorrow, Monday.
Coming up.
Well, that is the perfect way to kick off our
You ever seen that movie with the Bill Murray movie?
I have.
Classic.
That's not the kind of Groundhog Day we want on Monday.
No, we do not want that one. Bill Murray did not like that groundhog either. Well, I think at the end, he actually warmed up to him.
Before we go, let's take a look at one more viewer photo. This is from Dusty and Farragut. This was taken this morning. One of our four-legged friends of many enjoying this snow. That's a great photo, and looks like this is what many people are up to. So if you are outside today, just keep on staying safe, stay cautious, and just remember those tips about how to stay safe in this weather. But Zach, like you said, we'll be back at 10. Our next stream is going to be our 6 p.m. newscast. So that's going to be on WATE 6 Plus, and then we'll be back on Channel 6 itself for our 11 p.m. show tonight as well.
Check it out.
And of course, you can stay updated on our website, WATE.com. You can also download our weather app.
Great tips.
Anything else people should know before we sign off?
Just stay safe, stay warm, and you can have a little bit of fun too. Just stay warm.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back on at 6 and then 10.